Well, what a difference a day makes, as they say, folks. Dow was down about 600 yesterday. Up 1,200 on the Dow right now. S&P strong with 134-point move up. NASDAQ up 500 points. These are really, really, really nice moves. Oil moved up a bit, not much. That's okay. Gold finding a bottom. And this is the interesting one. Last night I was watching the crypto market. I watched Bitcoin. Very involved in Bitcoin. You know, I've owned it. I'm not going to sell all of it. I play in and out of some of it. I've got a base. I'll never sell my gold. I got a base in crypto. And I started buying a little more in the 70s, 73, 71, 70. Last night I bought it at 67. It dipped to 60. I was like, oh, this is going to really smack me. Jump back up to 70. So who knows? Like I've said from the beginning, I think this is a meme stock environment right now. The meme bros ran up a lot of these stocks last year. AMC, GameStop. Everything was great. They ran gold and silver up, and they got smoked when it went down because commodities are different than stocks. So they lost a lot of money. I think they were just selling out of their crypto positions to pay for their losses in gold and silver. I will take that to my grave unless someone proves me wrong. All right, folks. February, National Cancer Prevention Awareness Month. Now more than ever, we need to be asking what each of us can do to lower our chances of cancer. And if your loved one is battling cancer, we need to make sure that no stone is left unturned in the effort to stay healthy. That's where the Wellness Company comes in. A great company, actual doctors, real prescriptions. You know the Wellness Company, we have their doctors on here all the time, like Dr. Kelly Victory. Peter McCullough was on yesterday talking about this exact topic, and all the time the doctors show up to RAV. The Wellness Company and their doctors are medical professionals. You can trust these folks. The Wellness Company is committed to providing safe, low-cost alternatives to Big Pharma, from ivermectin to methylene blue to their fantastic new product, Shield, and so much more. Shield, we talked about with Macaulay yesterday. It's a cancer. It's a preventative cancer medicine. I won't call it a drug, medicine. And so the Wellness Company gives you the opportunity to make the promise of the MAHA movement a reality for you and your family this February. Let's take control of our health. Just go to www.twc.health/voice today and order. That's twc.health/voice and use the promo code VOICE and get 10% off. Prepare now. Don't wait. All right, folks, first guest is our own RAV White House correspondent, Mr. Brian Glenn. We have so much to talk about. So much. Can we do the one thing? Can we get this out of the way, B? Because we're going to talk about census in 2030, election integrity, SAVE Act, all those types of things. Venezuela, Super Bowl. I just have to get this out of the way. This meme, this video that Trump posted on Truth was up for 12 minutes. So it's folks may not know this, but it's a long video, and at the very end of it, there's a few minutes of someone had tacked on Barack Obama and Michelle Obama looking like monkeys or looking at apes, and the song from the Jungle Book is overlaying it. It's racist. It's bad. We get it, but there's always an explanation. What do you hear? What do you know? What do you think? I'll tell you what I think when you know, if you know anything, let us know.
I do think it's an unforced error that out of all the stuff that's in the news cycle right now that the Trump administration has to address, they don't need some type of meme or video to go out in poor taste that paints the administration in a bad light. So let's put that aside. Now, what happened? I'm assuming, and I don't know this for a fact, and we're hoping to get a little bit more clarification on this, that this was put up by a staffer, and I don't think they clearly knew what the entire video entailed. Like, they didn't know about that part towards the end. As you and I spoke off camera, it starts off great. Election integrity, talking about the election, and it's great. It's all the things that we stand up for. And then it makes a wild turn at the end. So I'm hoping that this was not intentionally posted, knowing what it referenced. But we certainly don't need any unforced errors right now.
I'm going to throw this out there, and this may be a little bit too inside baseball. I agree with you. I think a staffer, I don't know who it is, probably thought the first part made sense with what's going on with election integrity investigations, SAVE Act, et cetera. And that first part of the video is all about that. They sent it over. Maybe he saw it, maybe he didn't, but he certainly didn't see the end of it. There's no way President Trump would post that if he saw the end of it. And here's the thought. Dan Scavino has run his social media since 2015. I've known Dan for a long time, one of the quintessential pros in social media. He just got married over the weekend, probably on honeymoon, I think. He maybe not, but he's certainly not paying attention to this as much as he might be if he didn't just get married on Sunday, by the way. And also on Saturday, the other big group that Trump uses for social media, X Strategies, Alex Bruskowitz also got married that weekend, probably out of the pocket as well. So I would say the people who will be tasked with making sure this unforced error, which I agree with you, didn't happen, were kind of like man down, two man down.
Yeah. And there's also, they contract out with some meme makers as well. These people put out campaign videos. Most of them are in very poor taste, like the one that we had last week about, shut the F up, had the tag at the very end of it. Poor taste, in my opinion. It could be someone from that organization as well that maybe has control of that social media, that thought it was a good idea to drop that in there. I think it's reckless at best, but it definitely, they've apologized, I think, for it. So
here's the downside of it, right? It just gives fuel to the left to talk about something other than what I know Trump really wants to talk about. He wants to talk about the economy. He wants to talk about middle class affordability in the way it really means, not the way the left has portrayed it under Trump. Affordability is a problem under Trump. Meanwhile, they kept their mouth shut for 4 years under Biden when affordability was a real problem. Clearly, life is a lot more affordable now. It just takes you keep that shiny object over here. You can't get back to the other one that matters a lot in 9 months in midterms. Final thought on this?
Agree. Absolutely. I mean, we need to get back on track of making sure that life in America gets back to what we consider normal under the Trump administration. Look, the policies work. We know this, and they are working right now. We inherited double-digit inflation across the board, every product, service, every industry. So they've come down. So let's just, let's move forward. We don't need this in the midterms. We don't need Democrats running this ad in their campaign saying, well, meanwhile, we focus on uniting the country. President Trump is running this. We don't need that. And we just gave them a little bit of ammunition for that.
The other topic we want to talk a little bit about is the census. Now, help us through this, Brian. I mean, I know Trump, and Bannon wants it too. Trump has been talking about maybe having a rather than every 10-year, which is 2030 would be the next one, maybe pulling it closer, because we know that the census has been, it's useless. It's basically useless the way they petition, the way they ask the questions right now, allows non-citizens to be counted as citizens and such and whatnot. What is the latest on where do we stand? Will there be a census prior to 2030 or we have to wait for that? And will they fix the way they develop the questionnaire?
Yeah, they need to fix the questionnaire. Now, they're doing it in two cities. They're doing it in Huntsville, Alabama, and in South Carolina as well. And I did a little bit of research, and just in Huntsville itself, depending on what estimates you have, there are between 9,000 and 11,000 illegal immigrants living in Huntsville, Alabama, around 61,000 statewide. So you have a lot of people that are reported in the census. Now, there is a bill right now in Congress that Marjorie Taylor Greene last session put in, make American elections safe again. This calls for a new census so we can actually find out how many U.S. citizens live in this country. And then based upon that, not only do your tax dollars get allocated accordingly, but also congressional seats, because this could redraw congressional lines based upon this census. Now, do I think it's going to take place before 2030? I don't. But this is at least a good step forward, making sure that we count the people who actually are U.S. citizens. I don't think it's a racist question at all. To ask someone, are you a U.S. citizen? And based upon that answer, determines if your state, your city, and your government, how much money goes to your state or your city in that matter. So I think it's a no-brainer. It's like showing a photo ID to vote. This is a no-brainer.
No-brainer. You want to buy a pack of cigarettes or beer, you got to show an ID with a picture. Or you want to get on a plane, it better have, not only do you have to have an ID, it's got to be one of the more recent IDs, but God forbid you want to make sure you participate in the fabric, the freedom, and the continuance of this great country. No, you don't need an ID for that. We'll take it anyway. That's absolutely insane. Topic I want, it's probably not something we're thinking about, but let's talk a little bit about Super Bowl and what this weekend, only because, Brian, Trump's not going to the Super Bowl. And someone asked me about why, and I put a quote in one of those left-wing newspapers, and they said, well, he's not going because the Super Bowl isn't about sports anymore. It's become a political event. And why would Trump go to San Francisco where he knows he's going to get, the boo crowd's going to come out? It just makes no sense. I mean, I don't blame him for not going. Here's the question. He's not going, but what's he going to, is there something else that might happen? Let me ask you that. I'll tee you up.
Well, it could be a busy weekend. And I predicted, and I was wrong, that last weekend might be a preemptive strike on Iran, but considering the amount of military we just moved in that region. And if you historically, those things have happened on the weekend. Now, and President Trump had some very strong language in regards to Iran. So could it happen on Super Bowl weekend as the world watches the Super Bowl, or maybe they don't? Maybe eyes are on the Middle East. So I don't know. I think if he was if we thought something would happen and he needs to be in a situation where he can watch the world and govern our U.S. military, the place to do it is not in San Francisco. And I agree, if he stepped out on the field or even shown in the press box, that extremely liberal area of Northern California, he would get booed. Sadly, that's the reality of it. But I don't expect anything less than anybody that goes to see a Bad Bunny halftime show or a Green Day performance. So, but I really think that there is a good chance that we could see some type of military action this weekend.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, B, Trump could just say, look, I couldn't make the Super Bowl. I had a little something important on the docket to take care of. Couldn't watch the Super Bowl in liberal land, the liberal wasteland of Northern California, San Francisco, no less, Nancy Pelosi's district. Brian, always good to talk to you. By the way, people will be watching TPUSA's The All-American Halftime Show right here on Rev. Don't forget, I think Kid Rock. Who else we got? It's not going to be Bad Bunny, I'll tell you that. And there won't be any Spanish-speaking singers that refuse to speak English because they hate ICE and tell ICE to F off. Brian, good to have you.
Yeah, he backtracked on that too. Oh, by the way, he said you don't have to understand Spanish to see my halftime performance, but no, does he come out in a dress? Maybe the poly markets have that on as well, Eric. Will he wear a dress in the halftime performance?
Oh, my goodness. What does the NFL come to? I love football, but
you can thank Jay-Z for that. You can thank Jay-Z. Jay-Z's Rock Nation controls the halftime performances. He's had the contract for about 8 years now. That's why every halftime performance, in my opinion, is awful. It's awful.
Natasha Owens. Maybe Natasha Owens should do a halftime show next year. You know, she's going to be on the show later today talking about her latest iTunes, soon to be iTunes hit. We're going to talk about Brian. Really good to have you. Thank you, my friend. Have a great weekend. Have a great Super Bowl night.
Too.
All right, folks, check this out. Last week's episode of The Edge, Dark Side of Longevity Labs. This morning, 135,000 views. That's more than a Newsmax cable show. Did I say Newsmax? I meant News Hacks. Sorry. And guess what? It's not a one-off. Our total channel views, over 650,000 views, more than 26,000 watch hours. Less than 5 months, and YouTube itself flags those numbers as elite level performance. Doesn't happen by accident. Happens when you stop chasing outrage and start talking about pressure, health, money, and power. More importantly, how do you harness those things? Pressure, money, power. That's what The Edge is. What we're not, though, we're not politics. We're not gimmicks. We're not currently influencers pretending to be experts. Just real conversations with real people, real athletes, real physicians, and real successful men who actually know the terrain. Well, if you want surface noise, there's plenty of that out there. If you want clarity under pressure, hit that QR code right there with your camera. You'll align, press it, subscribe. Just do it. I'll wait a second. Here, I'll wait. Go ahead. I'll wait. Great timing, guys. Great timing, control room. That's perfect. Hit subscribe. You want to hear more of that. I love that. I love you guys. Eric Bolling The Edge. YouTube it or Google it and subscribe. We love to have you with us. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with your Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Did you ever wonder what truly happened in the COVID-19 pandemic and whether Anthony Fauci would ever be held accountable? I think we all have. Filmmaker Jenner First has an upcoming documentary that searches for truth, transparency, and accountability called Thank You, Dr. Fauci.
Governments lie.
Anthony Fauci put everyone on the planet at risk without their consent.
It's beyond suspicious.
Research caused a pandemic, killed 20 million, and cost $25 trillion. Fauci would prefer a lie.
Public trust, national health, and global security are at stake as this documentary digs through thousands of pages of documents and interviews with former officials and whistleblowers in the most controversial narrative of our time that may also be one of the largest cover-ups in modern public health history.
There was a cover-up.
Why would he trade the Chinese the most advanced biotechnology in the world?
He's a spy.
It's insane.
I don't think this is going to be foolproof. Things are going to slip through.
Fauci knew and lied repeatedly.
Rather than being a partisan hit piece, Thank You, Dr. Fauci is an honest look at the origins of COVID-19 and a potential bioarms race with China. It streams exclusively on Angel Studios app and site starting on October 23rd. And all you need to do is go to angel.com/Rav to stream it. So be ready to watch, question, and share as the quest for truth and accountability continues.
Now is the moment to put your brand in front of an engaged, loyal audience through Real America's Voice. When you advertise on Real America's Voice, you're not just running an ad, you're partnering with trusted voices like Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, and other influential hosts. Backed by millions of monthly listeners.
What's happening? Because of a Real Voice, man. I watch it all the time.
Real America's Voice rocks.
Real America's Voice gives sponsors the chance to put their product front and center, displayed on screen and highlighted by our anchors during exclusive segments and live events.
Every couple of months, Europe wakes up, stretches its arms, looks across the Atlantic and says, what are the Americans crying about today? And how do we make them stop? Well, actually, when they're not too busy censoring their own citizens over there, they turn their heads to America right here and think about how to control our voices. I wonder who gave them that idea.
We don't want diversity of fact. By the way, it will require some government, I believe, some government regulatory constraints around some of these business models.
And that's what happens. Some becomes more, becomes lot, becomes total control. That man is anti-American, anti-Western, blatantly subversive, highly destructive, and always has been, always will be. And of course, his version of facts is different from the real version of facts. Depends on what your definition of facts is. And to a leftist, whichever version of facts that supports their agenda is their version of fact. But I do digress. This week, France invaded the offices of X, which Elon Musk rightfully referred to as a political attack. Interesting how the French government never raided Twitter when they're actually manipulating the algorithm by mass shadow banning conservative voices all around the world. Now, when Musk, a MAGA ally, owns and runs the platform, now X, of course, the French government terrified about transparency. When Elon Musk took over Twitter back in 2023, mind you, holding the sink in hand, everything but the sink with the sink, he promised to restore free speech on the platform. That also meant bringing back many of the conservative voices that were removed from Twitter for voicing opinions the communists on the left didn't like or agree with. That spooked a lot of people and corporations, which promptly pulled advertising from the platform. Coca-Cola, Kellogg, Meta, Disney. Well, the return of conservative voices scared away the woke mob of ESG-driven BlackRock-owned corporations. And Musk's response was legendary.
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f*** yourself. But go f*** yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is.
In case you didn't hear it the first time, he said it a little slower for the world. Well, of course, other corporations came running back bit by bit, but Democrat leadership clearly didn't give up the fight to perform a little 1984 when it comes to online policing of voices they don't like.
He has lost his privileges, and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation, and that has to stop.
We should be, in my view, repealing something called Section 230, which gave, platforms on the internet immunity because they were thought to be just pass-throughs, that they shouldn't be judged for the content that is posted. But we now know that that was an overly simple view, that if the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control.
Anyone else, that voice go right through you? We lose total control, says Hillary. Folks, they mean what they say. They're not mincing words when the left calls for controlling your voice. She said it. She said the quiet part out loud with that really, really horrible voice of hers. It's why they so easily throw around words like fascist and totalitarian. These people just love to throw stones in glass houses. So it's no wonder then that Europe, the land of globalist and socialist crybabies, also takes issue with the growing populism of the world. Now, let me be clear. I have no love for Europe whatsoever, meaning I'm not one of those people who thinks, ooh, Europe, land of wine and cobblestones. We got the best of everything right here in America. Thank you very much. Europe carries itself like that coworker who keeps reminding everyone they studied abroad once, and therefore they know the correct way to live, and you don't. But somehow the whole continent of Europe seems convinced it's the world's designed hall monitor, designated. They really do act like they're a level above anyone here in the United States, culturally, morally, democratically, whatever that means, when you're cranking out new censorship laws like their croissants. Spain over there unveiling a brand new information integrity framework, which is code for a committee of bureaucrats deciding which opinions are just a little too spicy for us. Here is a Spanish youth minister talking about limiting or even banning the platform X in Spain. Know what that does? You know who does that? Little Rocket Man in North Korea. You know who else does that? The Iranian regime just did that to silence protesting voices and opinions. It's great company you're in there. Spain, congratulations. Meanwhile, France nodding along in that condescending French tone. Oui, oui. Raiding the Paris office of X, rummaging through servers and desks, demanding the policing of opinions, words, thoughts on the X platform. Does that scream democracy to you? Not to me. Brussels is printing out digital regulations like their money. Digital Services Act, Digital Markets Act, Digital Rights Act. Next up, the Digital Americans Please Stop Posting Opinions We Don't Like Act. And of course, the big one, the obsession is with American populist voices, especially the ones that come wrapped in red hats. Europe can't stand it. It's amazing. Europe leaders and lecturers, they lecture America about free expression while simultaneously deciding which political parties are allowed to post memes. So now they're launching these shiny new disinformation committees and content safety panels, all of them designed to reach across the ocean and say, excuse me, Silicon Valley, please delete this American man's tweet because it violates Article 42B of the We Don't Approve of This Stuff Here in Europe directive. Do they really think this is somehow enlightened of them? Do they really think we don't understand what they're up to? Washington must push back against this blatant political attack, as Musk referred to it. It's right. He's right. They may not care about preserving free online expression on the other side of the pond, but we have to show that at least on this side, we protect it at all costs. By the way, it's in our Constitution. We'll be right back.
Freedom to speak your mind. Freedom to protest policies you don't like. Freedom to start a business. Freedom to own property. Freedom to vote. Freedom to flourish. It's easy to take these things for granted, but for many people around the world, freedom is merely a dream, and those who fight for it risk losing everything. Their reputations, their livelihoods, even their lives. Scan the QR code now or visit atlasnetwork.org/rev today to help freedom become a reality for people fighting back against authoritarianism. With your gift of just $19 a month, we'll send you an exclusive Atlas Network hat. Plus, we'll send the print edition of our Freedom's Champion magazine to your door. Atlas Network was founded to help pro-freedom organizations around the world develop, implement, and defend policies that foster freedom against tyranny. Visit atlasnetwork.org/rev or scan the QR code now to help us make freedom a reality for millions of people around the world. Donate $19 a month to receive your exclusive hat. Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Howdy, Rav fans. This is Warbringer here. Love you all. Rav is the only place to get the truth, and this is the only way we're going to be able to restore our republic. Love you all. See you in the chat.
My name is TJ Ash from Carbonville, Utah. Real America's Voice lets me express my conservative views without censorship or edit.
Alrighty, before we move on, if you're 64 or older, this is important. Every year, too many seniors realize their Medicare plan doesn't cover the doctors they trust. Suddenly, you're stuck finding new doctors or overpaying. That's Medicare. You can spend hours researching, doing everything right, and still end up on a plan that costs you thousands and thousands too much, by the way. Chapter is the only national advisor that compares every Medicare plan. On average, they save people over $1,100 a year. One caller, Jill, said her chapter advisor showed her options she didn't see. You didn't see it on the website, on Medicare's own website, by the way. That's how broken the system is. Chapter is a free resource for our audience and can review all your options in under 20 minutes. If you're on Medicare, or will be soon, call the friends over at Chapter at 814-CHAPTER, 814-CHAPTER. It's help you can trust. Alrighty, these lefties will protest and protest and protest and protest the opening of a book. I'm telling you, they're not happy until they've stapled some poster board to a wooden stick. It gives them some semblance of purpose in a world that mom and dad, and eventually the long arm of government, paid for. Once upon a time, liberals posted interesting things that really mattered, like wars, sky-high inflation, and segregation. You know, real issues now. You've got Starbucks employees marching around protesting uniforms and long work days. Ooh, I got to work more than 5 hours, meaning anything over 5 hours, they're going to protest. So the Washington Post, losing money, years of biased garbage disguised as journalism, caught up to them, and guess what? That's business, folks. I know that's a foreign concept to people who hate capitalism and free markets, but that's the way it works. In fact, a business, if it's failing, you need to change what you do, right? Sometimes people need to be laid off, and a protest can't change that.
Hey, we do. Who makes the post? We do. Who makes the post? We do. Who makes the post? We do. Welcome, Ben Brash.
No, you don't make the post. The owner of the post makes the post and pays your salaries. And if he can't afford it anymore, I don't care how much money he has, it's still a business. Still got to be viable. Listen, if we're going to stop getting quality content like why birds are racist, then maybe we should all be protesting this travesty. But in case these snowflakes need to understand why the Washington Post is failing, I'm old enough to remember when the Washington Post called a known terrorist like ISIS leader al-Baghdadi an austere religious scholar. Remember that? Ain't that something? Don't worry. After being slammed for adding warmth and levity to an evil terrorist biography, the Washington Post begrudgingly changed their headline. Democracy dies in darkness is their motto. More like where democracy goes to die, I would say. If the rumors are true, life is about to become a lot more entertaining. If the rumors are true, by the way, the rumors floating around, guess what? Kamala Harris is considering a run for president again because the first 2 times worked out so well for her. But it does mean that we will get more of the queen of word salads.
Madam Vice President, what's going on with Kamala HQ?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. I have good news. So Kamala HQ is turning into headquarters, and it's where you can go online to get basically the latest of what's going on, and also to meet and revisit with some of our great, courageous leaders, be they elected leaders, community leaders, civic leaders, faith leaders, young leaders. I'm really excited about it. So stay engaged, and I'll see you out there. Thank you.
Say leaders again, Kami. Even CNN thinks Kamala's new HQ website is cringe.
By the way, the handle they're using, you can see there, we're zooming in on it, at headquarters_67. 67, as the kids used to say. Well, used to say a lot of things. And I think they also used to say, that's probably cringe.
Cringe. By the way, after all the criticism, especially by CNN, Kamala's team quietly changed it from headquarters 67 to headquarters 68. That'll do it. It's a well-known fact that every single president before President Trump has carried out the same kind of deportation operations. As we've pointed out many times before, Barack Obama was known at the time as Deporter-in-Chief, who showed no remorse for doing precisely what Trump is doing right now. Even CNN is pointing that out to Mayor of Somalia, Mr. Jacob F. Ice Fry.
It is worth noting that during the Obama years, the Hennepin County Jail actually had a policy where they let an ICE agent keep an office there and allowed them to talk to immigrants. So the policy has clearly been, under a Democratic president, what now the Trump administration is asking for. I mean, big picture, do you think it's good policy for the jails to follow an ICE detainer and hand someone over if they've committed a crime? And again, this only happens after they've served their time, for whatever crime they may have committed against the people of Minnesota.
I mean, look, you're asking all the right questions here. And while I don't have full expertise in how the operations at the jail are conducted.
AK, I can't answer that question because it was a hard one. Where's my softball questions? Lady is supposed to be a liberal left-wing media entity. Serious question here. Is there a single far-left Democrat who doesn't have some sort of ties to corruption? Most of them do. I guess that's what happens when the left side of the proverbial swamp gets a little bit more power. But Rashida Tlaib, let me say it right, Rashida Tlaib may have taken, you'll understand why I said it that way later in the show, may have taken things just a step further. It's possible, and I know this will come as a shock to many of you, it's possible that squad member and America hater Tlaib may have some close ties to, dare I say, terrorist organizations?
The 19-page document detailing what it calls our serious ethical and also those national security concerns. Those concerns are related to Tlaib's alleged affiliations with terrorist groups and documented engagements with organizations linked to both Hamas and the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, both foreign terrorist organizations. The report also suggesting that Tlaib's rhetoric raises some concerns about potential risks to both the ethical and institutional integrity of the United States.
Not I tell you what, why don't you start doing Ilhan Omar next? That'd be even more fun. Must be fun triggering unintelligent people, and the Trump administration is having a field day with that. At a House hearing on the economy, Treasury Secretary Scott, by the way, this is a great hearing, Scott Bessent handily exposed many Democrats for the absolute hacks that they are simply by just telling the truth as he explains things, as they say, to Maxine Waters.
I believe the ranking member does not understand the definition of generalized inflation versus one-time price increases. I would also note that housing, especially for working Americans, a Wharton study has shown that the mass unfettered immigration, adding 10 to 20 million new people demanding housing, Congresswoman, is what caused a great deal of housing inflation for working Americans. So you and the Biden administration should be ashamed. 10 and 20 million immigrants
can you
took
shut
up the housing stock of working Americans, and can you maintain some level of dignity?
Gentleman's time has expired.
Can you shut up? You're making me look bad. This guy's the Democrat Party's ideal candidate. His name is Tony Thurmond. He's running to replace Gavin Newsom, and he wants everyone to know that if he wins, he's really going to try hard to be even worse for California than Gavin is.
And when I am governor, I will restore universal health care for all, including undocumented immigrants in the state of California, because we know that health care is a right. We will abolish ICE. We will create a pathway to citizenship. And right now I have legislation that puts a tax on any single company in California that does business with ICE and ICE detention centers.
Tax, control, censor, California, communism. Finally, as the spell of frigid cold continues in New York City, tens of thousands of New Yorkers are without heat, heading into what they're expecting to be the coldest days yet. And it reminds me of the words Mayor Zohran Mamdani uttered at his inauguration in January.
We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
So how's that collectivism? You know what collectivism? It's socialism. It's a form of communism. It says the state controls everything. The workers work and the bureaucrats bureaucrat, right? So they work, they produce stuff, and all the proceeds go up to the top, and then the top decides how to distribute. Well, when the workers realize that it doesn't make sense for them to work harder because they're working harder than that guy over there, then they work less like he's doing. Production goes down, resources go down, and then you'll have stuff to give back to the people who are the workers. It's anti-capitalism, and they're finding out the hard way in New York. Guy is a slick talker, no question. He reminds me of Barack Obama. Slick talker. Like, you want to hear the guy talk. If you're in the mindset that would be in your realm, it'll be amazing. But they don't say anything that makes sense. They're talking things that are going to take that city down. Obama almost took America down. They're still trying. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.
This time on Law and Border, we'll head across the country and show you the enemies within who are protesting and rioting against ICE.
Yeah, they're not messing around today.
The Law and Border team starts out in Chicago, Illinois, also known as the Windy City, but is now nothing more than a lawless city because of Mayor Johnson and Governor Pritzker.
We got some day-them energy.
And then we'll head to Los Angeles as a new wave of campaign season riots kick off.
Nothing gained.
Yeah. There, we'll expose more of the hypocrisy of the radical left as their communities are driven into the ground under their virtue signaling and failed policies. These federal law enforcement officers are putting their lives on the line every single day to remove the criminal illegal aliens that Joe Biden and the Democrats allowed into our country.
The communities that are aiding and abetting protecting them.
Freedom to speak your mind. Freedom to protest policies you don't like. Freedom to start a business. Freedom to own property. Freedom to vote. Freedom to flourish. It's easy to take these things for granted, but for many people around the world, freedom is merely a dream, and those who fight for it risk losing everything. Their reputations, their livelihoods, even their lives. Scan the QR code now or visit atlasnetwork.org/rev today to help freedom become a reality for people fighting back against authoritarianism. With your gift gift of just $19 a month, we'll send you an exclusive Atlas Network hat. Plus, we'll send the print edition of our Freedom's Champion magazine to your door. Atlas Network was founded to help pro-freedom organizations around the world develop, implement, and defend policies that foster freedom against tyranny. Visit atlasnetwork.org/RAV or scan the QR code now to help us make freedom a reality for millions of people around the world. Donate $19 a month to receive your exclusive hat. Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Howdy, Rav fans. This is Warbringer here. Love you all. Rav is the only place to get the truth, and this is the only way we're going to be able to restore our republic. Love you all. See you in the chat.
My name is TJ Ash from Carbonville, Utah. Real America's Voice lets me express my conservative views without censorship or edit.
So we're doing a little something different here. We're moving the voicemail segment up a little bit, make room for Natasha Owens. She's got a brand new song out. Remember her from Somali Waltz. We love that song. Got to number 2 on iTunes. She's got a new one that I'm going to guess it's going to hit number 1 on iTunes once we start playing it and you start listening to it. You're going to love this song, especially with the timing of what's going on with the Super Bowl. But Ben, we got some voicemails, right?
We do have some voicemails. We have Tony, who's got a question about the new ICE body cams.
Hey, Bowling. What's up, man? Tony from St. Louis. We suck this year. I got it. All right. Anyway, here's the deal. So we're spending $20 million on body cameras. Okay, great. How many does that buy? Exactly. You're the mathematician. Where's the government fraud now? Love your show, bro.
It's a public service announcement. Before you call, maybe like, I don't know, have some coffee or something before you call. I don't know, 20 million? I mean, I no idea. I do think body cams are protective of police, because I think the left hates police so much that they'll accuse them and blame them of everything. It's for their own safety, not because they think they're going to catch them doing something bad. It's so that the lunatic left doesn't keep saying, "Oh, I was abused, I was beat up by a cop." I think you can't spend enough money on body cams for cops. I don't want to see it on street corners, but for cops, not a bad idea. Benny.
We have a viewer who wants everyone to watch the Unfit documentary.
Hi, yes, Eric. This is Sandra from Indiana. I am calling on February 6th at 4:30 in the morning. I just watched a documentary called Unfit, the psychological profile of Donald Trump. I beseech everybody in your listening audience to watch it this weekend. And if you've not heard of it or watched it, I beseech all of you to watch it if you're a Trump supporter, because it is very, very disturbing of how the left is portraying President Trump. And watch for certain things that are in it that they are the fake news and the liberals are trying to incite or say that it was all done under President Trump. It is a very compelling documentary. It was done in 2020, and the people need to watch it. I beseech all of you to watch it. It'll only take you about an hour and a half. It really made my blood boil. My blood boil. Thank you.
beseeches to request something urgently, just so you know. So yeah, I remember this documentary. It's from 2020, and it's not a pro-Trump documentary. It's just shows how outrageous they paint the picture of Trump in 2020. Remember, 2020 they were trying to make sure he wasn't a president again. He didn't get reelected. May have worked. I don't know. May have worked, but whatever it did, it made him more potent. Let's put it that way. It made him more potent as a president in 2024 and the next 4 years that will ensue, have ensued and will ensue. Watch the documentary. It pisses me off beyond, because it's not just Trump. The documentary people take shots at MAGA, America First people, MAGA people. I can't get through 10 minutes of it. See if you can. Let me know. Benny.
We have a viewer saying absentee ballots should be notarized.
Hey, this is Alton Billingsley. I don't know why it's never been put before the House or Senate for absentee ballots to have to be notarized. That would save a lot of the problems. Just one simple thing. Absentee ballots should be required to be notarized, in addition to IDs. For president ballots. Thank you.
You know, it was a great idea. Notarize the absentee ballot. I don't like absentee ballots, to be honest with you. Don't love it. I think military should have it. You can probably petition for it, but it's just an automatic absentee ballot. I'm not loving that idea. But why not notarize it? You have to prove it that way. You have to show an ID to get a notary. I agree with you, too. Have the ID out there. And again, there's a very, very effective way to stop illegals from voting. Just let it be known and perp walk them and throw them out. If you're caught, you're an illegal, you're trying to vote, you're caught, you're going to get deported immediately. Your family's going to deport. We'll send your stuff behind you, and you're never, ever, ever going to get asylum nor citizenship in America if you do that. You will cut down the incidences. They don't want to get caught, folks. They do not want to get caught. I'm telling you, it's not a bad idea, but good question there. Benny, what else you got?
All right, so this is from before. You had a bit of a throwback to before about Rashida Tlaib. Now, I had to bleep some of this, but I think it's
you had to bleep it? I didn't think you had to bleep it. Okay.
It was pretty emphasized,
all right,
I think, for safety, but you'll understand when I play it.
Eric, it's Rashida Tlaib. Rashida. Remember, pronounce it correctly, Eric. Rashida Tlaib. Okay, get it right, Eric. Rashida Tlaib. Have a good day. Bye.
By the way, Ben, it only worked because you bleeped it perfectly, because we got the essence without it.
Worse, honestly.
No. You didn't hear the word, but you know exactly what it is. If you bleeped it too much, we like, wow, well done on you, my friend. Well done on you. Got it. And we said it the right way in the earlier block. Go ahead. Another one.
All right. So this is a bit of a gauntlet here of viewers asking about what's going on. So I believe this is Robert, California. He didn't say so, but we'll start here.
Hi, Eric. I see you look pretty banged up today. My question is, what does the other guy look like? Probably not too good if I know you. All right. Keep fighting the good fight, Slugger. We're pulling for you.
So, the voicemails, there are hundreds of voicemails asking about what happened yesterday. I'll get to it in a second. And a lot of people on the chats, both Getter and Rumble chat, are lighting it up like that's what the glasses are for, by the way. But go ahead. Let's hear another one.
Hey, Bolling, what's with the patch on your head and the black eyes? Did you run into a angry Karen?
Not quite. Another one.
Yeah, Eric, I was just watching your program here today. What happened to your face? Did somebody box you or what? I just want to know, see if you're going to be all right or something. Thank you.
No, that's not it either, but thank you for your concern. Is there more, Ben?
Yeah, I got one more. Yeah.
All right.
Was watching you on TV and wondered what happened to you.
Okay, yesterday, little basal cell carcinoma up here. The doctor was going to scrape it a little bit. It's supposed to be a little bit of bandage. He said you won't even see it, and he nicked a forehead artery. He nicked it with his scalpel. It was bleeding everywhere, so he had to do 16 stitches. So I got 16 stitches up here. But what happens is, unbeknownst to me, as they say, when you do forehead surgery and it's more extensive, it swells, but the swelling drops into your face. I had no idea. So you got this. That's why the glasses are here. And that's why it got worse throughout the show yesterday. I'll tell you a really quick anecdotal story. I took the train here because I didn't want to drive because my eyes were swelling. I'm on the train, and a lady comes up and says, "Are you Eric Bolling?" I said, "Yes," her and her husband. Like, I thought, I watch Rav every day. I watch you every day. I said, "Oh, that's really great. Thank you." I said, "Apologize for my look on the way into work. Apologize for the way I look." She said, "I'm an eye doctor. Don't worry about it. You know, you're going to swell, blah, blah, blah." Did the show. It got worse throughout the day. If you noticed during the hour, it got worse yesterday. On the way home, I swear on my life, the same couple was on the train on the way home. The doctor said, "Yeah, you're really swelling bad. Take some Sudafed and take some anti-inflammatories." Absolutely true story. Thank you for your concern. We're going to be okay. Feel great. Talk to the nurses. Everything's fine. Just got to work it through. Body's got to work its way through. Thank you for your concern on the chats and the voicemails, and thank you, everyone. All right, today we follow up on the success of that longevity lab episode On the Edge with another conversation with my doctor, Dr. Todd, not the guy who did this, my physician, personal physician, one that might make you uncomfortable with this one because we're now exposing the dark side of the nutrition labels. You know, nutrition labels shows how much carbs and calories and protein. The foods that are being sold to you as healthy, balanced, and nutritious may be doing the exact opposite of what you think, what you're eating, what you're feeding your kids, what you're trusting because the label sounds right. Might actually be killing you. That's true. Not in 10 years, but right now. But Doc has a lot of good suggestions.
Apricots would be a good choice. Anything with the word berry, blueberry, raspberry, blackberry, whatever, those are low in sugar, high in fiber, but they're still, a fruit and they taste great. Now, if you compare that to something like watermelon, for example, you're definitely getting a lot more sugar. So it's great to eat fruits. They have lots of other benefits, but you can't overdo it.
So we dig deep. The episode breaks down how labels are engineered, how ingredients are disguised, and why the system rewards confusion, not actual health. It's not fear porn, not clickbait. It's information you're supposed to have, but probably never got or never knew about. Just hit your phone, your camera on that QR code right there. Hit subscribe. We really want you to be part of this. It's a movement. It's getting really big. I got a couple great episodes up now. Going to be another amazing one next week. We'll tell you all about it once you're part of it. Thank you for watching Rav. Thank you for watching Rav Bowling at 4 o'clock. Thank you for hitting subscribe on YouTube. Use Eric Bowling and The Edge. Hit subscribe. You're part of the group. You're part of the movement. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.
Freedom to speak your mind, freedom to protest policies you don't like, freedom to start a business, freedom to own property, freedom to vote, freedom to flourish. It's easy to take these things for granted, but for many people around the world, freedom is merely a dream, and those who fight for it risk losing everything, their reputations, their livelihoods, even their lives. Scan the QR code now or visit atlasnetwork.org/RAV today to help freedom become a reality for people fighting back against authoritarianism. With your gift of just $19 a month, we'll send you an exclusive Atlas Network hat. Plus, we'll send the print edition of our Freedom's Champion magazine to your door. Atlas Network was founded to help pro-freedom organizations around the world develop, implement, and defend policies that foster freedom against tyranny. Visit atlasnetwork.org/RAV or scan the QR code now to help us make freedom a reality for millions of people around the world. Donate $19 a month to receive your exclusive hat. Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Howdy, Rav fans. This is Warbringer here. Love you all. Rav is the only place to get the truth, and this is the only way we're going to be able to restore our republic. Love you all. See you in the chat.
My name is TJ Ash from Carbonville, Utah. Real America's Voice lets me express my conservative views without censorship or edit.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. You're going to like it, folks. You loved my next guest's first song for Real America's Music Ram, we call it. That song was called the Somali Waltz. Well, I'm guessing you're going to download this next song as soon as you hear it. It's called The Boss, and it's in response to Bruce Springsteen's ICE protest song, Streets of Minneapolis. Happy to have back on the show singer Natasha Owens. Natasha, can we do this first? Let's hear some of your new song, The Boss.
Let's do it.
I danced to Rosalita. I shouted out Thunder Road. I used to believe you sang for me in those glory days of old. Where is your song for justice? Where is your song for the working man? I was born in the USA and you spit on my promised land. You preach from your mansion, but you don't know the cost. I thank God you're not the boss. What about Lake and Riley?
All right, Natasha, tell us about this. By the way, you were on last week talking about the Somali Waltz, and I asked you, what's next? Because this one's great, and this was not even begun yet, has it? Tell us about that.
It was not on our radar. Thursday, this song dropped, and as soon as I heard it, I was so infuriated and so disappointed as a Bruce Springsteen fan back in the 80s. And I thought, he has it completely opposite. He is, making these people out to be heroes, and they're nothing but a bunch of thugs that are ignoring the rule of law. And what about Lake and Riley? What about the victims of the illegal immigrants that should have never even been here? And, he has kind of trademarked himself in the past for decades to be for the working man, for the forgotten man. And this is not what it's about anymore. It's about ideology. And so we thought we're going to do a rebuttal to his song. And within 24 hours, we had this song written and just about recorded. And here you go. I hope you love it.
It's amazing. It's very, very catchy. It's a great song, and it's dropped now, right? So folks can actually log on to iTunes and purchase the song and listen to it. It's available?
It is available on iTunes. The video is available. Get this thing to #1. We really want to show his surviving fans, whoever's left, and that side, that it's not okay. He took away the voice of the people that he's been singing for his entire life. I'm giving that voice back, and it's not okay. That's why we're pushing back. It's great. We'll get a little bit more into the song and your passions about it. You can hit that QR code too, by the way, folks, if you want to download the song right there, the QR code bottom of the screen. I'm from Chicago. I couldn't stand Bruce Springsteen because all the East Coast people love Bruce Springsteen, and he ends up being a wild, liberal, raving lunatic. So, do you think you're going to hear from the boss? Who knows? He may push back. He may ignore me. He's been so petty, and you can see the pettiness, I believe, in his song, that I think he probably will push back in some form or fashion. But it doesn't matter to me. I get so frustrated sometimes when I hear Hollywood and the elites, and they scream for their mansions, and it has nothing to do with them being rich. It has to do with the fact that they have no reality of real life. And the working Americans are living in these communities that have lawlessness and have all this crime and all these murders, and he's just saying that it's okay, and I'm saying it's not. Yeah, and they have their security guards, or team of security, gunned up security guards, but they want to take our guns away as well. This past Sunday, Billie Eilish was really anti-ICE. The whole crew of the Grammys were anti-ICE, but Billie Eilish, stolen land and this and whatnot. I know. Why are they so liberal? And more importantly, why are there such hypocrites? They are are such hypocrites. And that's what most Americans, I believe that the majority of Americans see right through that crap. When it comes to taking our guns and being all fair, they're guarded up to the hilt. Don't build a wall, but I'm going to build a wall around my house to keep myself protected. And I don't appreciate it. I don't even watch the Grammys anymore. They're too politicized. And I was very, very upset to see the Supreme Court justice sitting in there applauding dumb women. I
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
By that.
Ketanji Brown Jackson, who, by the way, couldn't define what a woman is. Natasha Owens, the song is The Boss. Folks, download The Boss right now. Just aim your camera at that QR code on the bottom of the screen right there. Let's get this song to number one. Again, they had the J6 song number one. You had Somali Waltz. Number two, almost got to number one. Let's get this one to number one. Well, this one is a great song. It's well produced. By the way, great job hooking up with Real America's Music. Turn this thing around because this is really fun music to listen to. Thank you, Natasha.
Thank you so much.
Natasha Owens for the halftime show on Super Bowl 61 next year, whatever the number is.